It sounds funny, but sometimes the most expensive part of a level is a staircase. 8 inches and yet so many problems. You might have heard that staircases are kinda tricky in game dev. In the real world we don't really think about walking. Our body does it for us. The foot finds grip, the knee absorbs impact, the brain smooths the trajectory. Millions of years of evolution, an insanely complex process. In games though, you either take a ready-made solution that wasn't designed for your stairs, your scale, your geometry, or just write your own, but without millions of years to iterate. And on a flat surface it usually looks fine, you just move forward and sync the animation to speed. But stairs ruin everything. The surface stops being smooth, contact keeps changing and you immediately get jitter, camera shake, snagging and that weird descent. So let me show a few common ways people deal with it. The first option is the simplest. You stop using stair geometry for movement. Visually the steps are still there, but for movement it's a smooth ramp, an extra collider under the staircase. The step geometry often doesn't collide with the player at all. And this is important, it's not a cheat or a hack, it's a normal engineering practice. Because in most games a staircase isn't a mechanic, it's a route. The player doesn't need to feel every single step, they need movement to stay consistent. Now the character isn't losing contact on every edge, he is just walking on the clean surface, like a small incline. And immediately almost everything improves. Movement is smooth, the camera calms down and those tiny jitters are gone. But you can probably see a problem, right? If we ignore the step collisions, it's going to look weird. Sometimes the foot slides, sometimes the steps don't line up. A common way to solve that is inverse kinematics. It's an animation technique that defines a target for a character's limb, then computes how the body's joints should rotate to reach it. The result is an ideal combo for many games. Control and camera stay smooth and predictable because the movement happens on a clean slope. But visually the character still steps on stairs thanks to animation. So why not always use smooth ramps instead of stairs? The answer is simple. Stairs aren't the only place where you need steps. The rest of the world still exists. Door thresholds, curbs, small ledges and etc. And without the ability to step up, your character will snag on everything. A level designer can't and shouldn't have to turn every single bump into a smooth incline. So there is another approach. You use the real step geometry and the player's character climbs up the stairs one step at a time. Okay, how does this work? First you need to detect that there is a step in front of you. Usually that's done with a check right in front of the feet, either a collider or a bunch of raycasts. And then you define a simple rule, what ledge height is acceptable as a step. If the height difference is above that limit, then it's a wall, not a step. If it's a step, you teleport the character to the top of that step. You can do it instantly or spread it over a few frames so it looks smoother. I'm leaving out a few details here, but this is more or less how it works. But then come the limits. Teleporting is dangerous and you have to control it so you don't turn your game into a playground for bugs and exploits. For example, step depth. If it's too short, the movement will look like this. And you also have to control speed, because if you scale speed without limits, the character can get boosted up the stairs. And then repeat the same for going down. The same step detection, but downward. Otherwise, the character will skip steps without slowing down. And the same depth check, so you don't get the same problem you had on the way up. So, which one works better? It depends. The first option always wins in feeling. If stairs are just a route, the choice is obvious. But if a game has a large complex world and movement itself is a mechanic, then stair stepping is probably the better fit. Let me know in the comments what game mechanic you want me to break down next, and of course like and subscribe, it helps more than you think. That's all for today, good luck and goodbye.